It's the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast. Time to start the show. Talking things and collectibles. Here we are, let's go. Cardona's buying everything. Their minimum profit's what to say. On mark, it's ready. The show. Time to talk, let's go.
Welcome everyone to the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast. I am your host, the Indie God, the Deathmatch King, the complete Matt Cardona, and today we're doing a very special live incarnation of domination with the one and only D-Von Dudley.
Hey.
D-Von.
What's up, Zach?
What's up, man?
Oh, I should say Matt.
That's right. Hey, we don't say Zach here. Zach's dead. Rest in peace. Incarnation of domination. I know you're a big listener of the podcast. So
Absolutely.
That's when we go over all of the figures of a certain superstar, but you have too many damn figures.
I'm going to say we're going to be here for a while.
Yeah, so I picked out what I think are the essential D-Von Dudley figures.
All right.
I want to see if you agree. We're going to look at them. You're going to tell me if you even have the figure. Do you collect your figures?
I do and I don't. If they send it to me, I'll collect it. Do I go to Walmart or online and buy them? Nah.
So you're not figure hunting for your figures? You're not going to Walmart and Target looking?
No, I mean, I have a game room that I put it up in there, but no, I don't really do it.
So
Unfortunately, I
you
don't.
Probably,
I should.
You probably don't even have all of your figures.
No, there was so many that was made, especially during the Attitude Era, because that was when me and Bubba at our hottest, that there were things that they would make that we didn't even know was out there.
But you're getting paid for it, right?
You get paid for
That's
it.
all that matters.
That's all that matters. Hey, show me the money. Make as many as you want. Like Al Snow used to say, pin me, pay me.
All right, so let's go and let's look at all of your figures that we have today.
Let's do it.
All right, first up, we have your first ever figure, ECW, D-Von Dudley, featuring your pivot punch. You do a lot of pivot punching?
I could say that I did and I didn't. I don't know if I used too many trash cans, and that's why when I first saw the action figure, I was a little skeptical about it because of the trash can. At that point in time, Bubba and I hadn't really done tables. We had done everything but tables at that point. Now, the one that did bring it out was New Jack.
Yes, he did, yes.
And it was a crazy story. Some fan came to me and showed me that this actual box,
Yep.
so I guess the manufacturer must have made a mistake.
Yep.
And put New Jack in there.
Oh, okay.
And it was supposed to have been a D-Von, but it was New Jack, and he held it on for many years.
That's
And
a
he said,
factory error.
yeah, he said, one day I want to be able to show you this, and this is the time to show you. So he came and showed me, and he was like, how did they get that mixed up? I said, well, they probably thought all black people look alike.
Oh, my God. Jesus. Come on, D-Von. But, all right, do you remember when this figure came out? Do you remember the feel? Like, did you even care that you were getting a figure?
I did.
Yeah.
To me, it was huge. I had never had anything like this before, a video game, nothing. So when I first saw myself, I was very impressed, number
Right.
one. And number two, I was very excited. Really excited because the twins who are wrestling now, they were like 4 or 5. And when I came home with that and I showed them, they were like jumping for joy.
Right.
You know, because like, Daddy's on an action figure. This
Sure.
is great. And that just showed me that I had finally arrived.
Yes. I mean, I'm a huge ECW fan. I was a kid when these came out, Attitude Era. And then, like, you jumped to WWF. But these figures, as a kid, I could still play with these
Right.
until you get the WWF figure. So it was perfect. And you probably don't know this, but like all these figures have unique bodies. So like no one else has this D-Von arm.
Right.
You know, everything's unique to the wrestler. And this is real nerd stuff. But that's what made this ECW line so special is that nowadays, you know, people have the same legs, the same arms, but everyone had unique parts and just made every figure that much more special.
I mean, that's the way it was back then. They wanted to try to make it separate from everybody else so you wouldn't mistaken
Right.
who was who. And you always knew if you studied pro wrestling like that, what their arms looked like, what their legs looked like, the tattoos and all of that. So it really meant something back then.
So who do you think sold more figures, you or Bubba?
Oh, I did. Sorry, Bubba. I'm just being honest. I did.
All right, let's go to the next one. All right, the next one here is your first ever WWF. I can say that.
Yeah.
We didn't get the F out yet.
No.
WWF Rulers of the Ring, D-Von Dudley. You remember this?
Absolutely. It was our WrestleMania.
Yes.
The one where we did the ladder match with Edge and Christian and the Hardys. And that was the look
Right.
that was given for that WrestleMania. Now, when I saw that, that was when I really knew I had arrived.
Yeah.
I got an action figure after being on WrestleMania, creating history. Didn't know that those ladder match and TLC match would still be talked about 30
Yes.
years later, but it did. And just to have my action figure in WWE, because remember, me growing up as a kid, I played with Hogan's figures, Andre, Roddy Piper, Jake the Snake, Steamboat. I'm the kid playing with them.
So you did play with figures?
Oh, absolutely, I did.
Okay.
Absolutely. Hogan won every dime. I was such a huge Hulk Hogan mark. But no, it was one of those things where I felt like a sense of accomplishment.
Yes.
Because I had finally made it to my childhood dream.
So I'm glad you say that, because a lot of the guys that when I first came into the business, I was afraid to say that I collected figures, and I didn't, because, if I saw you in the locker room, I'd respect you, I'd shake your hand, but then I'd also be buying your figure at Target or Walmart.
Absolutely.
So I came in at a weird spot, because most of the wrestlers, they didn't grow up playing with them, so I couldn't they couldn't relate to me.
Right.
Know?
My thing has always been this. We all are what they call marks, over the top fans. We were all like that, because if we weren't, we wouldn't have been in this business. So to not credit that as you get into the business and become popular and well known, why wouldn't you acknowledge that?
For sure.
Because again, we all came from something. And if it meant being an over the top fan, then why not admit that?
I agree. So back to this figure. This is what I was talking about earlier. Other people had these arms. Other people had this chest, but this was the original. This is your head. Obviously, they scanned you. Do you remember getting scanned?
I remember getting scanned out of that, but I told him, I was like, "Could you have left the gap out?"
No more gap.
No more gap. Brought to you by Invisalign.
But this is cool because the sunglasses come off, removable. But as a kid playing, it was a pain in the ass. If you lost these,
forget it.
These, oh man, brutal.
I remember Jake the Snake had, his action figure where he had the snake.
Yes.
And I was visibly upset because my little brother, who was playing with my figures, and I told him, "Don't play with my figures when I'm not home." He played with it and lost a little rubber snake that went around, and I was so upset.
So you feel my pain.
I feel your pain. Needless to say, he got an ass whooping that night.
All right, let's check out the next one. All right, so this isn't your next one, but this is this is the Jax, this is the Ruthless Aggression era, because in between the one I just showed and this, you probably had 20 different figures.
Yes.
You were too over, D-Von. You even had a 3-pack with The Rock.
Yeah, I was with The Rock. And that was the one that basically I was like, damn, I really made it. The Rock was hot back then. And then to put me and Bubba both in a 3-pack with him, that was great, because we had done many matches together.
Right.
As teammates. And then we'd done many matches where we were beating his ass.
Yes.
So for that to have happened, that was great. And then to have this during the Ruthless Aggression era, it was kind of okay, this is I think one of our last action figures that were made right before we left in 2005.
So is this after Reverend D-Von?
This is after Reverend D-Von.
So are you upset that Reverend D-Von never got a figure?
I am.
I think Reverend D-Von needs a figure.
I think Reverend D-Von needs a figure, point blank, period.
I think now Mattel could do it, because Mattel, you have a Legends deal now.
Right.
I convinced Bubba to sign that Legends deal. He didn't want to do it.
I think I heard something about that.
I'm like, Bubba, what are you doing? Because nobody else can make Dudley figures.
Right.
Sign with WWE. They'll make Dudley figures, and you'll sign them at these signings and make even more money.
I've had people come up to me and say, hey, we want to do action figures on you guys and blah, blah, blah. You think you can give me your business card or something? We can maybe make this work.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, sure, let's do it. Yeah. And I thought about it. I was like, it's not WWE.
Right.
So am I really going to be satisfied with what they make? No. And I'm glad you did, convince them, because no one else makes action figures like WWE's
100%.
people. And with that being said, that just proves right there that looking at this figure compared to when people make other figures that don't really look like us or represents us, that's proof in the pudding right there that is the place to make action figures. So again, I was very happy and content with that. And again, it was during the Ruthless Aggression era. Now remind you, Vince always, during this time, he was looking to bring a new generation of people in.
Sure.
So to be able to still be in Vince's eyes as being able to be made money off of and things like that, that was huge.
So what's with this yellow camo look? Whose idea was it to switch to yellow?
I did.
That was your idea, okay.
Because I was tired of the regular black and white and this and that. I wanted something a little different.
Yep.
And where I got the camos from was an Army and Navy store in Cocoa Beach.
Okay.
And I went in and I saw all of these different colors. I was like, oh, this is great. So I went and bought one. I said, Bubba, we need to do this. And then I remember Bubba going, well, can you get me a pair? And I was like, yeah. So I got him a pair, and then we started using that one. I used that one. We did purple, white, and black. I remember that. I got teased by Jerry the King Lawler going, I know Barney's purple, but the Dudleys, D-Von. But I was trying to just do different things, different look. Even though we wanted to stay camo, I wanted to change the colors up at least.
Say one thing, so I'm really anal about my figures. One thing I don't like about this, there's no wrist tape, no finger tape.
Yeah, they left it out, but they put it on the picture.
It's on the package. You can clearly see that's what it's supposed to look like.
But it's not there.
Even the camo's not the best there.
Yeah, no.
You know, it's kind of, they're cheaping out in the deco hits right there.
Yeah.
This is real nerd talk. But yeah, this is your last figure in WWE for a while.
Yeah.
Because you jumped ship.
We jumped ship.
You left the territory.
Yep, and I believe, yeah, we sold out, as they like to say.
Well, let's go check out those figures.
Yes.
All right, so here we go. Little TNA, Total Nonstop Action, Brother D-Von.
Brother D-Von.
Bro, I see what you did there. Brother D-Von, you got the table here.
Yep.
You got the molded wrist tape. You got the finger tape. Even the chains there.
The chain.
You're all jacked up here, too.
Well, I was jacked.
That's right. That's right.
At one point in my career. The chain, never came off.
Never came off.
Never. I wore the chain all through. And I know there was a couple of times I was told that, why are you wearing the chain in the ring? Wrestlers don't wear chains in the ring. And to me, it was my style.
Right.
And I wanted to keep it up. And I thought I was going to get heat from it. And not that I didn't care, but I was going to take a chance. It was like, do it and ask for apologies later.
Right.
So it kind of, for me, it set the trend for everything when TNA did that, because, again, it showed something that I had been doing for years and that I'd never take it off. And that was one of the things that when I go to do autograph signings and things like that, people ask me, is that the chain that you've been wearing your whole career? I go, yep, this is it.
Oh, wow.
This is the same chain.
That's crazy.
With the exception of the ring, but this is the same chain since 97.
Oh, my God. So I don't know if you know, this is a rare figure.
Yes.
And they don't even make Bubba.
No.
So Bubba doesn't come out. He's probably so pissed that you made that royalty money, he didn't.
Well, that gets going to show. You asked me earlier who made more figures, who sold more figures.
I guess by default, you sold more from the Marvel TNA. But yeah, this is a super rare figure. I think one of your best face sculpts.
Yeah.
Looks good.
They even got the scars on the forehead.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Really, really good. And you got the table there.
And the table.
So tell us about the Team 3D name, where you couldn't be the Dudleys anymore.
Yeah, well, when we left WWE in 2005, we were under the impression that we had the rights to the name.
Right.
And we were going to do an independent show, and the independent show got a cease and dismiss letter. And when that happened, we were like, what the hell is going on? So we went and got a lawyer, and the lawyer said, yeah, they're claiming that they own the rights to it. Now, we can do one or two things. We could fight this, or we can just make up a new name. But if you fight this, Vince can have you tied up in court for so long that by the time even if you did win, you would have lost from all the money that you spent trying to fight this. So it's probably best if we just let it go.
Right. But I think it worked out, Brother D-Von.
And Brother Ray.
Yeah.
Because it almost sounds like D-Von and Bubba Ray.
Yeah.
So my name is D-Von, which is D-Von. And, instead of the E, we always did it in WWE with the hyphen.
Right.
So we just put my real name in. I was like, they can't take that from me.
That's right. That's right.
If they do, they got to speak to Mama Dudley.
Yeah, this is a great pack. And then Toy Biz switches to Jax, who used to make the WWE. So now you're going to get Jax TNA figures. Let's check that one out. All right, we're crossing the line here with some Jax Team 3D. I'll be honest, I don't really love this one. I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
I mean, what do you think? I mean,
it doesn't have the details like the other ones.
Yeah, this is just.
It just looks like they just put it together from old ones that they had, and and just painted the new shirts and all that.
Well, that's pretty much what it is. It's the old WWE parts, because WWE went to Mattel, so TNA got Jax.
Yeah.
So it's all right.
I mean, it's not bad. I mean, it still shows that it's us, but still, it could have been a little bit made. It could have made a little better.
You guys stopped. You weren't doing tie dye. You weren't doing camo. Just plain black pants. Not toyetic. What are you doing?
Well, because they said that they owned the rights to the camos too, so it was still the likeness of the team, which is why we had to change everything up.
Got it.
And it got to the point where we just didn't care anymore, and we were going to do it anyway. So later on, we wind up putting the camos back on for a little bit here and there.
Right. Well, look, they did paint the tape on your fingers at least. They did the wrist tape, so there's something there. But when you're walking down the toy aisle, not very toyetic, as they say. Your previous ones, camo. Tie-dye, that pops off the shelves. This,
it's plain.
Very plain. Yeah. But it's a rare 2-pack. Do you sign these a lot at conventions?
That's the first time I've seen that since TNA made it.
I think we got to give it to you.
Yeah, I need to have that. Thank you. I'll put this on my side. Thank you.
All right, we got two more. So this one is a kind of a weird one. This just came out recently. This is based on your return to WWE. From what year is that? 2016?
2015.
2015. So that was already released, but this is like an update of that figure. I don't know if you even know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is From the Vault, it's called. Like that figure is so sought after. They brought it out of the vault. Look at that. That's how over you are.
I like it.
So this one has all the detail. It has the red camo, has the chain, has the glasses, has the tape, your tattoos.
Yeah.
I mean, this might be the best.
I think it is. And the thing about that one is even the box is cool looking.
Yeah.
You know, so I really enjoyed that one when it first came out. I was very excited. It was almost like getting my first action figure because it looked so good.
So I remember being in the locker room when you guys came back in Brooklyn, and the locker room was not happy that Bubba was coming back. But that was the first time I got to work with you and Bubba, like in the ring or even like just be around you guys. Because like, you know, you were in the business before I got in the business, and we just were never in the same place. But that's the first time I ever wrestled you was in this WWE.
Yeah.
And I remember putting the match together with you. We had a singles match. It was so easy. And then Bubba came and made it so complicated. And I'm like, you're not even in the match. You're not even in the match.
Damn it, Bubba.
And I don't know if you remember this, but in the match or something where Bubba pops up on the apron and I nail him and I like busted his nose open.
Oh, boy.
And I'm like, oh no. But I got through the curtain. Everyone in Gorilla's clapping. But Bubba hates when I tell that story. I'm sorry. But the boys loved it. The office loved it. Like, I thought I was going to get heat. I got hit with Bubba.
Right.
But from everyone else, they were like, yeah.
So it was worth with everybody in the locker room, but you were like, fuck that with Bubba.
Yeah. But how was it when you came back all those years later at Barclays Center? I mean, that noise, that pop, it was unreal.
It was unreal, and I never thought that him and I would receive an ovation like that. I mean, it was incredible. And to know that there were new WWE fans that kind of knew who we were but didn't know who we were. They weren't there, or they weren't born during the time that me and Bubba did ECW. And, of course, the very first run of WWE, they weren't there. But at the time, the network was pumping out a lot of stuff about us, trying to educate the new fans on who the Dudleys really were. So when we came out, I just didn't think the ovation would have been as loud as it was.
Right.
But again, it's Brooklyn, New York.
Yep.
I'm born and raised in Brooklyn. Bubba was from Queens and lived in Long Island after that. So it was like a homecoming.
Yes.
And anytime Bubba and I had ever been in New York, that was what we got. But again, to do that on a scale of a WWE and to have that many people in a building, and then when that pyro hit, that was the one thing I loved about it, because social media never got their hands on it to let it know. Even you guys in the back.
Yeah, the boys in the back had no idea.
We basically, when we got to the building, we were in a SUV that was very well tinted.
Yep.
And there were people outside had no idea that it was us. And we kind of went inside and went down an elevator, went all the way down. Mark Carano, who was head of talent relations at the time, met us down there and said, don't get out the car yet. We're going to wait and make sure that every area no one's there.
Right.
And we got out of the car, snuck into the bus. We didn't come out and do anything or see anybody until it was like, I think, a match or two before we were supposed to go out.
Yep.
And that was when New Day came in and saw us for the first time.
Wow. What a night. What a reaction.
It was great.
And you got 2 figures out of it.
Yeah, I got 2 figures and
That
it was
are
lovely.
identical.
Identical.
Well, this was a better version of the other one, but
Absolutely.
still pretty cool that your figure was so good they had to do it again.
Absolutely. And one of the greatest things also I thought was that the fact that, you guys, the newer generation, had welcomed us with open arms. That was one of my biggest fear of not being able to be welcomed back, because I remember during the Attitude Era when so many of the guys from Andre and Hogan era and even Dusty and Flair era would come into the locker room and guys were like, oh, what the hell are these old farts doing here? And I thought that was going to be the same reception, but it wasn't. So we were eager and very honored to be able to be in there with the New Day, with you guys, the Usos and all of that. The Wyatt family. So we were really happy that you guys welcomed us in to your locker room. It used to be ours, but we were gone. We strayed away from home, not by choice, but we left and you guys took over. So it was our job to make you guys feel comfortable with us.
Well, thank you, because we got to, wrestle guys we grew up we got to wrestle guys we grew up idolizing, guys we grew up watching wrestle. So you guys taught us so much in and out of the ring.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, it was great. And I think that was one of the things I was nervous about in terms of becoming a producer, because after working with you guys on that scale, I didn't know how it would be perceived as a producer, because a producer is a different ball game than it is talent. And now I'm taking my ideas and trying to give it to you, because this is the vision that the office wanted. Would you accept me being a producer, being able to do that? And you guys did.
Yes. And you're a great producer.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, let's go to your last figure, your most current figure. But by the time this comes out, there'll probably be something else. You have so much merch now that you sign Legends deals. All right, here it is. Ringside exclusive. I'm sure you've had to have seen this by now.
I've got 9 of them in my house.
This is the ECW. I don't know if this is ECW or your WWE debut. One or the other. It's kind of both, right?
It's a little of both, because remember, when we first came into WWE, we were wearing tie-dye and the overalls. I was. And so Vince wanted not an ECW look, but he wanted a WWE look.
Right.
So we had to go back to the drawing board and change, and that's where we came up with the camos.
Right.
But it was one of those things where, I was very happy to be able to see these action figures in that kind of ECW setting, because it brought back so many memories, and it was so detailed.
Oh, look at all of
nice.
this. There's so much stuff here.
It's great. Not to mention, again, I said it on the other one, the box alone looked just really cool.
Yep.
And to me, that's always a selling point with me. If the presentation on the outside looks good, I want to see what's on the inside.
Absolutely. Again, all the finger tape, the wrist tape, but this one has the ECW tag team titles.
Absolutely.
And a perfect window to sign and make money, right?
That's it.
That's the most important part.
Listen.
How's that window?
Make me the money. That's all I want. Keep those action figures coming.
So yeah, this one, so many fans were excited for this, because finally, you guys are back in the Mattel family, so they can start making figures of you guys. But now that they've done this, I think they can make like the yellow camo. I think they can make a Reverend D-Von with Deacon Batista.
Absolutely.
Now that you guys have those Legends deals, the sky's the limit on what figures they can make.
Absolutely. I mean, they can go on, and I think that's the great part about it. Not only, and this is something that I'm looking at right now, not only the front is cool, but the back is cool. Look at the back, and then it has a little story behind it.
Right.
So for those little kids that still don't know who we are, it gives a good story about who we are, and then go on the internet and look us up.
I think my personal favorite of all the Dudley boys is this 2-pack right here.
I love that one.
What do you have a favorite?
That's my favorite.
This is, we agree. This is the best Dudley boys.
That's my favorite.
But you probably have, I'm not even kidding, like at least 100 different figures, right? Am I over exaggerating? What do you think?
Maybe just a little bit, but I like that number.
Well, that means just think about all the royalty checks you got.
Listen, over the years, I wish we could say that we were on the same level as The Rock and Steve Austin. We might have come close to it in terms of merchandise, but man, we were so over.
You were so over.
Back then, it was really a good time to be in the WWE and just to be in pro wrestling at that time. I mean, it was like we could do no wrong, even when we were bad guys, even when we were heels.
Do you debut in WWE in 99 or 2000?
99.
Okay.
It was August 24th, 1999.
So, almost 30 years later, they're still cranking out product
Yes.
because you guys were so over.
Yes, and that was the great part about it. One of the things I loved, it wasn't an action figure, but it was a styrofoam 3D.
I have it. It's
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
They made so much merch of you guys.
God, there was stuff that people would come, even before they started doing conventions and stuff like that, we would do autograph signings, through WWE, and people would come to us and give us things to sign, and we had no idea that WWE had made it. That's how much merchandise was out of us.
And it just breaks my heart that you don't have everything. We need to track down what D-Von has and get him all the missing stuff.
Absolutely.
You need
Please
to make
do
me
that.
a checklist. And all the major marks, they'll get it for you.
Listen, I'm going to start writing down a list of things when I see it at these conventions and be like,
Yes.
I want that, that, and that.
Let's get it all.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, D-Von, thank you for going through your figures, a little mini incarnation of domination. You have too many damn figures, but tell the people, you're a big YouTube star now. You're coming after my internet title. Tell the people where they can watch you.
Listen, it's not going to be a hardcore match coming after you, but I'm telling you, the minute you start breaking out light bulbs, I'm out. I'm letting you know. No, but you can follow me on Instagram at Testify D-Von, which I am on just about all the time.
You're always on your damn phone.
Always
making these phone calls.
Bro,
you're
gotta
in the
make
gym
business.
doing leg extensions on the phone.
On the phone. Listen, I'm on the bench. I got ear things in my ear, and I'm just like, yeah, I want that. It's incredible how much. Listen, I can keep Verizon in business.
Oh my God!
I just plugged their product. So yeah, I am a Verizon subscriber. Yes, I am. No, and then also I have a YouTube channel, like you said, which is doing extremely well. We got my first plaque, which I'm going to put on my YouTube channel to thank all the fans for helping me to reach 100,000 within 3.5, almost 4 weeks, which was an incredible feat. And, you know, I never thought that anybody would want to hear what I have to say, but apparently they do.
They do.
And they still loving it. Right now I have over 125,000, and it's still growing. So thank you very much. And that's how you can find me. I mean, on the YouTube channel, your comments, I read them all. And of course, Instagram at Testify D-Von.
Well, D-Von, listen, here we say scratch that figure itch, but I think we got to end this show with a good old testify from D-Von Dudley.
Oh, yeah. Without any further ado, oh, my brother, testify.
Join the community at MajorMarks.com and get access to exclusive content, behind-the-scenes footage, and become a member of the Major family.
You get bonus episodes on our careers, wrestling figure history, and exclusive interviews with our friends and legends in the business each month.
You also get early access to YouTube videos and, of course, the weekly podcast ad-free and breaking news updates.
Brand new shows featuring
Oh, baby.
and you. Each month, you can interview someone in the wrestling business with the Captain's Log.
Also, buy, sell, and trade in our exclusive Facebook community where people have become friends in real life.
Certain memberships include merch like monthly trading cards and quarterly mystery gifts.
Become a Major Mark and join MajorMarks.com today.